hopefully you guys can hear me now. Had some issues with the microphone. Hopefully, yep, everything looks good. My little bleeps and creeps and other little sweeps are doing just fine. Fantastic. Hey everybody, my name is John. I'm with FNP Wargamers, and today, or tonight, we're going to be covering a lot of information. We're still not up to where we can do multiple screens with the different, sorry as I adjust here, with the different commentators, Ski and Jonathan and TJ, everything that was going on with YouTube and their whole Google Hangouts and how we could stream multiple streams. It pretty much all went down the toilet. So we're still working on it. But if you guys do us a favor, if you will hit the follow button, and as long as we have like 3 or more people watching the show each time, it actually moves us closer to an affiliate level. And we only have to have X amount of videos a week, X amount of hours a month. And once we're there, then we're going to be able to, we're an affiliate, we'll be able to have multiple windows, and all sorts of really cool goodness comes about. So just help us out. Jump on over from YouTube and hit that follow button. And whenever we do our weekly shows, like today, I'll be doing a show tomorrow as a kind of a probably a recap, because there's a lot going to happen tomorrow, probably over the next couple days, but really tomorrow is going to be, it's going to be a big release tomorrow, big chat. So tomorrow, definitely watch the show. I'm going to probably hit it at probably about 8 p.m. Yeah, I would say probably about 8 p.m., maybe about 8:10. I'll let you guys know on our Facebook page, and I'll even put it up when I put up the title for the show. I'll make sure you guys all know what's going on. All right, so let me get some things going on here. You don't need to see my own Facebook page. That is all you need to see. That image is courtesy of Bell of Lost Souls. They have a couple images from the Psychic Awakening video. All that coming from is the video that Games Workshop put out about the Psychic Awakening, and that's one of the images along the video. And they just froze the frame, and I'm just copying up there so you guys can see it, because we're going to be talking about that tonight. Actually, we got a lot to talk about. Got a little David Letterman card here, got a bunch of stuff to talk about, giving a chance for a couple more people to jump on, and then we will get this show on the road, as they say. So let's see here. Just checking out some channel stuff here, make sure all the analytics are working. Awesome, everything is good. We are live, and it's pretty. All right, so I can just go ahead and keep talking, and let's go ahead and get this show on the road. Thanks for anybody that's watching, you're joining in. Let's start talking about stuff. I know that in the description, we're going to be talking about Psychic Awakening. That's the big thing that's happening. We're going to talk about rumors, leaks, and bleeps. Bleeps are, well, pretty much all this I could say is bleeps, because we're going to be talking about rumors and leaks, and it's all crap. We'll say crap. I think I can say shit, but we'll go with crap for right now. Anyways, with all the stuff that's going on and the kind of shakeup that GW has had, and the way that all these rumors are spawning, we're going to be getting lots of misinformation. I'm going to cover that tonight. Lots of misinformation coming out of the UK. And I think we can really blame a lot of the rumor and leak sites. And I'll get into that. First, this is like a gaming thing, and I really want to bring this up because this was a badass thing that I thought about. I don't know if it's going to see a lot of play, but and I'm going to coin this phrase, hopefully before somebody else does. This is going to be for those of you who are playing Space Marines. I'm going to recommend you look at making Sergeant Bam Bam. Yes, Bam Bam, as in the Flintstones. I'm not copywriting it, but Sergeant Bam Bam. So you take yourself an Intercessor Sergeant, you give them a Thunder Hammer, because they can take Thunder Hammers now. So on the charge with Shock Assault, these guys get 4 attacks. That's 4 attacks with up to 12 damage. You can then activate the Honor the Chapter stratagem. They get to fight again. They can now hit or do up to 24 points of damage. Just with that fighting the second time, that means you could probably drop a knight. If you roll really well, you could probably drop a knight in one turn from an Intercessor Sergeant. Now, it doesn't stop there, though. So you can actually do the... There's, with the Codex supplements, the Ultramarines and the White Scars, you can give actually a Sergeant a special issue war gear. It costs a command point. Now you give him a mastercrafted weapon, so now he's +1 damage. That ends up being another 8 points of damage, so that's up to 32 damage you can do in one round with Honor the Chapter. You're burning a lot of command points, but what's more satisfying? I don't even know if that's going to be what's going to be more satisfying, killing a knight with a sergeant or what. Then you toss in other stuff like toss on Might of Heroes. There's another attack. You got all the different litanies that can boost or let you reroll wounds or reroll attacks. Whirlwind of Rage, if you're taking any of the successor tactics. Whirlwind of Rage, that's the one that lets you do, if you, you know what, I got the book right here in front of me. Instead of me just kind of rambling this off here and kind of guessing. Whirlwind of Rage, whenever you roll an unmodified hit roll of 6 on a charge or perform a charge, basically when you're doing this, you score an additional hit. Or if you took Duelist, the Duelist is another cool one. Unmodified hit rolls of 6 automatically scores a hit and successfully wounds the target. Now you can't use that in conjunction with Whirlwind of Rage. Those 2 successor chapters, it's very clear in the designer notes you can't do that. No biggie. But now there's opportunity for more attacks. You toss in the Veteran Intercessor strat that used to be in the Vigilant Defiant book. Vigilus Defiant, sorry. But you can now get it in the regular Space Marine Codex, which gives your one squad up to an additional attack. I can actually find it right here. Veteran Intercessors. Yes, it costs up to 2 command points, but adds 1 to the attack and leadership characteristic. So and you're only going to use that once per battle, but you know what, that sergeant's probably not going to survive that explosion. So you're probably going to kill a knight with a intercessor sergeant with that. That's just a little tip. I don't know if Sergeant Bam Bam is going to do any good. There's a lot of ifs and buts that are required for you to get this executed. But even then, I think it would be worth it. I mean, ultimately, think about powering forward with a squad with the auto bolt rifles. That's the assault 3 weapons. You got 6 of those guys in an impulsor speeding across the way. They pop out, shoot a knight, maybe cause a wound, because you can pop that stratagem where they automatically hit. So that's going to be 18 hits. Then you walk up and maybe cause another wound from a guy punching it. And then your sergeant goes to town, and hopefully you've chewed it up with a couple shots. You could probably kill a knight with an intercessor squad. So it's something to think about. All right, let me check chat here. The chat here is weird. I'm not sure about this. But anyways, so a couple other things before I get to Psychic Awakening. I am getting there. Do not fret. I'm not going to drag this out. This is not clickbait day. I'm going to save that for another day. So, pricing. We know that the Impulsor and the Infiltrator Squad and the Phobos Lieutenant, even though I think people are calling him the Reaver Lieutenant, I don't think it's going to be a Reaver Lieutenant. I think it's just Lieutenant in Phobos armor based on what the Codex says. I think it might just be because he has that Death Skull mask, and people are just automatically, oh, it's just like the Primaris Reavers. Okay. But he's coming out. I imagine not even imagine. The information I've got, $35 for the Lieutenant. That's starting to become the standard pricing for any of the characters in the blisters coming out. So just be aware of that. Then we're going to see the Infiltrators. I imagine that box is going to be very similar to the Intercessor box and the Reaver box. So should be $60. For a limited time, I imagine, just like when they came out with the Intercessors and the Reavers before, you'll be able to buy a 5-man box, probably around $35. That is, now I don't know that one for sure, but I'm pretty sure they'll do that. And then once those 5-man boxes are done, that's it. It's a limited print run, and it won't be listed as a limited time only. It'll just be, hey, we're going to make X amount of these, and then once they're sold out, we'll pop them off the web page, and all people have is a 10-man squad. And I imagine also that there's a possibility, I'm not going to guarantee it, but there's a possibility that they will do a whatever Blood Angels, Dark Angels, Space Wolves, and Death Watch all re-release with their new books. Look for, if you haven't already done it by then, look for those boxes to contain the shoulder pads in it. Maybe with like a $10, $15, maybe $10 markup. We'll see. It's just something to kind of keep an eye on. All right, so the Impulsor looks like it's going to be $75. Yeah, $80 for the $80 right now for the Repulsor, $100 for the Repulsor Executioner, and now this smaller tank with less upgrades, less options, is probably going to be $75. I might not have done that right. It could be $65. I don't know, but it's probably going to be $75 knowing Games Workshop. I'm not going to go through. I'm not going to bore you guys or placate you with the, oh, you're getting this great value, etc., blah, blah, blah. You don't deserve that. So Eliminators are going to be coming as well. Those are probably going to be $50 box. I don't have definitive proof. I will have that information this weekend. So when I do the Sunday night show, I'll be able to pass that information on to you. So let me check something here. All right. And that, and I talked about it Sunday. The Eliminators are going to, or not the Eliminators, but Aeronautica Imperialis. That box set is going to be $90, guys and gals. I have nothing else to say about it except I'm slightly disappointed with Games Workshop right now. $75 or $90 for that box when it is 55 sterling, British pounds, whatever it is, over in the UK. It's 55 pounds, which if you follow the currency transfer right now, that would make it approximately $65 here in the US. I could see it being bumped up to $70, but right now it's saying it's a $90 in the US. I'm going to double check that price tomorrow because I got an email right before work, but I'm not too happy about that. I'll work on not ending the sentence with a preposition. Not doing English class here. Leave me alone. So anyways, I'm not happy with that $90 price tag. I'm really hoping I looked at it wrong, and that's actually the Canadian price. Sorry, Canada. If it is, then it probably means it's probably about a $70 to $75 box here in the U.S., but $90 for Aeronautica Imperialis, if I read that information correctly. I could have read it wrong. That might very well be, no, not Australian dollars dinner. It's the conversion rate is $65 here in would technically should be $65 here in the U.S., but if I read it correctly, it said $90. I could be wrong. 70 would be a little bit more accurate, and that could have been a Canadian price because the pricing that I got was both U.S. and Canadian, and I might have just saw the 90 and my brain focused in on it. It's possible. I've done that before. So I'll actually let you guys know tomorrow at about, I'm going to probably say I'm going to do that show at 8 o'clock tomorrow again, because that's going to be when we're going to be having a major frickin' info dump, and people are going to be needing to clean up a big mess around their gaming table and their hobby table. A lot of craziness is going to drop tomorrow. So I am getting there. I'm getting to the Psychic Awakening. This is still not clickbait. I'm just trying to get there. Now, I talked to you guys before about the Aeronautica Imperialis, the box set. If I'm not going to droll on about it. You can go right now to the Warhammer, not Warhammer, but yeah, the Warhammer community page. Sorry, you can go to the Warhammer community page, and they even just put up a brand new video today. There's a lot going on. They're showing size comparisons, more about the sprues. I talked about yesterday that there's going to be, and I'll try to circle right here, there's going to be the new type of Thunderbolt Fury that's going to have the twin Avenger bolt cannons. And I imagine that's going to be at Forge World real soon. The DACA jets, the bombers, everything. It's going to be a really badass kit. Just that pricing is a bit ridiculous, and I'm really praying that my information, that I read it wrong and that it's actually about $70. Even with my discount, that's a big penny for a board game. And when you're only, I mean, you are getting sizable miniatures. I mean, there's a good comparison for the miniatures. That's a top-down view of the Warlord Titan from the Adeptus Titanicus, and then there's the Thunderbolt. So these are sizable models, but they're probably about size of X-Wing, if I guess. Anyways, you can go to their Warhammer website, take a look at all the information, read up on it. Now, we were doing our damnedest to get a copy to do demos and do a live unboxing video, all that stuff, so we can show it to you guys and kind of have a leg up on a lot of the shows that are over in the UK that are right down the street, and they're buddy. They go drinking or going out to eat or playing foosball or whatever with the developer team. So we don't have that luxury. So we were doing lots and lots of begging, pleading, sending emails, and we got a little traction, but not in the way we wanted. We would have to actually, not FNP, but the store that we would be filming at, Atomic Hobby Shop, we would have to buy 14 boxes. And we would get an early demo copy. So not too happy about that, because it was a great opportunity to really spread the word. And I don't think Games Workshop understands that these small games like this, they don't have as big as appeal as I think they expect it to be. And they really need people like ourselves, people that are streaming all the time, large game groups, large game stores, to help promote this. And giving this to us 2 weeks prior, any major YouTube or Twitch channel giving this to us 2 weeks prior would have been a tremendous help, because people tune in and they listen and they get excited about these games. And I'm still getting this, but I just hate this missed opportunity. And I get it. Games Workshop's a company. They've got to maintain standards, and they have. My other guess is they have this whole week with not a lot to talk about. So Aeronautica is pretty much going to get something every day. So tomorrow is probably going to be all sorts of stuff about orcs, and then imagine Thursday is going to be probably about their upgrade kits and the ace cards. And then Friday, who knows what Friday will be. I'm not even too worried about it right at this point. I was definitely unhappy about it. The other thing that's really cool, right before we get into this, couple things before we get into Psychic Awakening, give time for people to jump on. Tithe of Bone. I'm not going to talk too much about it because Ski's already covering it in his show. But if you are an Age of Sigmar player, you probably already know the Tithe of Bone is some event, some new army, something that's coming next month. And actually this weekend, probably even tomorrow, we're going to get some info on it. So this is really cool. Now, it looks like it's going to be a new faction. I've read, it's going to be Japanese inspired. No, it's going to be Egyptian inspired. No, it looks kind of Aztec. So I've gone back and looked at all the imagery that they've given us, and it looks like a cultural clash of different imagery. There's a lot of, I'd say, Far East comparisons with the types of armor, some of the stylistic weapons, but there's also some Western stuff. I really don't know what's happening, guys. Not even, I don't even think Ski has the full information yet. We know that there's a new Mortark. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. A Mortark of bone, and this new skeletal army is going to have these badass looking horse cavalry. Looks like ogres of some sort are going to be mixed in with it, or they might just be a new faction. But the way I looked at it is I've seen some similarities with like India, Japan, maybe a little dash of China, but I can also see some Aztec style artwork mixed in there. The music is definitely kind of a Far East feel to it, and it's an area that they've never really touched on. So I could see it being why people would think it's Japanese. We'll see. But why is this important to you? Oh, sorry about that. Hey, if the volume keeps spiking, let me know. I don't know what's going on with the microphone. I don't want to mess with it and then end up being silent again. But why is this important to you if you're not an Age of Sigmar player? From what I'm gathering from Ski, from my own little Mr. and Mrs. Smith, that the conversion bits that you're going to be able to get from this are going to be insane, especially if you are working on a custom Space Marine chapter like myself, or Chaos Space Marine chapter, Cultist. This set, this whole Type the Bone thing is going to be insane with the bits. So I'm even holding off now on doing some of my conversions. Some of the close combat guys, I'm holding off a little bit longer. I'm going to work on my basic troopers. Just like my intercessor squad right now is going to be my main focus, and the 3 Invictor tactical war suits that I'm going to be fielding. So I can just wait a little bit longer to get these Type the Bone, whatever this is, and slap them on my models. I'm excited about it. I might not seem like it, but I am. Not because I want to play Age of Sigmar, but this could turn me onto it. I don't know. But it's definitely badass sounding. And if the imagery that they've been showing us, that artwork would be, if it got translated faithfully over to miniatures, then I'm definitely going to be buying something and adding it to my guys. I might even go in a whole new direction on my custom chapter on a whim, just like that. So we'll see. But I'll keep you guys tuned in. We're about ready to get into the Psychic Awakening stuff. So tomorrow, well, before I get to that, I want to talk about the release schedule real quick. So we've said here that over the past couple weeks, there's been all sorts of rumors and speculation and confirmed information that this is the release schedule, or that's the release schedule. This is what Games Workshop's doing. Actually, we have no freaking clue. Nobody does. Our Mr. and Mrs. Smith is not dropping the information. We have no idea what's going on, and it's not a Games Workshop problem. The release schedule that's going on right now, especially I'm going to be talking about Space Marines. It's not us, or it's not Games Workshop that is changing their schedule. It is a lot of the rumor sites pushing out the information, and Reddit is another one of those sources. They're pushing out this information without doing a tagline of, hey, rumor, take with a grain of salt. This is a possibility. There are people actually out there putting, hey, this is bona fide information. Or people are saying, oh, well, John was talking about, this is a release schedule. He did say rumor. This is a speculation, but we don't care about that. He said on FNP Wargamers on Twitch that this stuff is happening. And then that gets spread around. And I've talked to a couple other YouTubers and one gentleman on Twitch so far, that we're actually now starting, I don't want to say a coalition, but kind of like a shared rumor group, so we can actually go, have you heard this from this source, and we can kind of bounce around and kind of help each other out, kind of a community drive there, community rumor mill. And it definitely looks like we had to put a lot of the blame on the fans, because I talked about this with the Black Templars, and it's going to be really disappointing. Is it still possible? Yeah. Is it probable? No. That it started out as a 100%, not even a rumor. It was a wish listing. Somebody was just speculating, like, wouldn't this be cool? Wouldn't this be awesome that this is what's going to happen? And man, it took off from there. Within, I want to say it's like 3 days, because I reported on it probably within, I want to say, a day of me hearing about the speculation. No, I'd say a couple days. A couple days after the speculation started, and it was really interesting watching the evolution of that rumor, or not, that wish listing turn into rumor, and then confirmation, back to rumor, adding in stuff like Gaskell Mad Thraka's getting his new model. That box set is coming for the Christmas time. That's what the Psychic Awakening is. It's Gaskell ascending to the becoming the Beast or something along that lines, or the Prime Orc or whatever. Oh man, it's just getting so ridiculously crazy with the rumors and speculations. It's really, social media is really cool, and the rumor sites are they're really nice, but the fans take it so far, and then all of a sudden it becomes gospel. Now, does this mean that it's not going to happen? It could still happen. There's nothing saying that it's not going to happen, but the chances of that actually happening are pretty slim. And I already said, if I'm wrong about this, or the God blessed frickin' Dark Angels versus Imperium box, if any of that was to come true, I'll shave my beard. I'll shave fake news into my chest hair, whatever. I'll do something a little humiliating, and just kind of eat crow on that one, because I'm definitely not going to literally eat crow on it. I know it's just a saying, guys, but anyways, so back to that change in the release schedule. There was, if you watch the Voxcast or listen to the Voxcast that Games Workshop puts out, that kudos to a gentleman over on YouTube, Kirioth. He is a British gent, and he has his own show. He was talking about this today on about the Voxcast, and they make essentially paraphrase GW, or he makes a good point about GW's release schedule. GW will talk about, or they were talking about, the way that they release things is make it towards visually appealing, and so it draws people in. And once again, I'm paraphrasing. A good example is like the dynamic of the Wake the Dead box. This is his example, and it was a good example, so I'm gonna use it. Thank you, Kirioth, for bringing that up. The Wake the Dead box, visually just striking, because you have two different, very distinct armies releasing, and color-wise, that red and that blue, the Ultramarines and I think it was Beal-Tan Craft World. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure it was Beal-Tan Craft World. Very striking colors and imagery, and it's to draw customers in. So why do I bring this up? We've been trying to figure out what's going to be the next Codex release. We know the following we've seen the following, that there's a Forged Father coming for, a Primaris Forged Father coming for the Iron Hands. Iron Hands upgrade kits has been spotted. We know that there's a, what's it called? Imperial Fist upgrade pack that was released over Christmas time, last Christmas, so 2018. So we know that these things exist. And we know that, or we don't know, but it's a reasonable assumption based on the Ultramarines and the White Scars Codex supplement releases that there will be, of course, the supplement. It's fair. That's a fairly good chance, like in the 90 some odd percentile, there's going to be Iron Hands, Raven Guard, Salamanders, Imperial Fist, and I'm still banking on Black Templar. And I'll get to that. So we know that each of these supplements No, we don't know. We can reasonably assume that each supplement is going to get their data cards for sure. They're going to get some sort of upgrade pack because Games Workshop likes to crank that stuff out. It's a great sales thing to start selling 10, 15, 20 packs of, or not 10, 20, maybe 5 or 6 packs of their upgrade sprues with all the shoulder pads for all the new Primaris Marines that we're going to buy for all of our aggressors and our characters, everything. So, and everybody's going to get a character, and we're basing the character off of the fact that we've seen 3 characters dropped. Chief Librarian Tigeris. We saw Khosrow Khan got an upgrade, and we know that the Forge Father, and I don't know if it's a named Forge Father, but there has not been an Iron Hands character. Even in the Codex supplement that came out 6/7th edition, there was a Codex supplement with Raven Guard, Imperial Fist, and Salamanders, White Scars. Well, pretty much all the top ones, minus Black Templars, got a Codex supplement. 6 into 7th, and I think in 7th they got nuked and were no longer valid. So so each of those had their own Codex, and they had some named characters in there. So we might see the Forge Father. Now, it wasn't a model, it wasn't a unit, it was just the individual that was leading that particular company that the book was kind of based around. So the Imperial Fist, they had I want to say it was the 3rd company. They had a sergeant that pretty much got a can't say it, bereft. Anyways, they got an instant field promotion from sergeant to captain when their captain died, and he was the most senior ranking gentleman. So he became, you paid an upgrade, I want to say like 35 points, and he got captain stats, but didn't have an Iron Halo. He had a Power Fist, wasn't a Primaris, this is before Primaris, and I think he had some sort of special bolter. Don't quote me on all. I don't remember that book. I actually threw it away because I was very unhappy that I could no longer use it, and I regret it now. The reason why I regret it is a lot of those items that were in there we've seen pop up in the Codex supplements for Ultramarines and the White Scars. So my prediction is that when Iron Hands and all these other ones drop, those relics are going to pop up in there. So expect to see Chains of Medusa pop back up. I don't know what it'll do, but I know at least in 6th and 7th edition, the Chains of Medusa, it had until you took your first wound, you were like a 3-up invulnerable save, and you had Eternal Warrior. And then it downgraded to 3-up invul, and I think Feel No Pain, and then I think it downgraded again to just a 3-up invul. So it got a little weaker as you got wounded, but it was still pretty awesome in the beginning, especially the Eternal Warrior special rule. So who knows? I think, though, that's a great deal of lore that they're going to pull out and pop into these. And like I said, it's a reasonable assumption, ladies and gents, that each of these Codex supplements each of these Codex releases, you're going to get your character, you're going to get your data cards, and an upgrade sprue. Do we know this for sure? No. And to bring this all back around, this is why we have no clue what is coming out until it comes out. Right now, Games Workshop, I know this part has kind of clamped down on their things once again, and I imagine it's because Nova is about ready to drop a bunch of information, and I totally forgot about Nova until this last weekend, that every time there's a big convention for them, all of a sudden Mr. and Mrs. Smith kind of essentially dry up on their information. The best way to describe it. Excuse me a second. So they dry up on their information, and I think, and I'm interested to ask, maybe when I go to the UK next year, or maybe when Denner, you go to the UK, maybe I'll send you over to talk to them, that maybe I can ask them that, and this is my speculating, that when these things are about ready to happen, these conventions and stuff, where they're going to be releasing information, do they have to kind of be quiet because Games Workshop is going to be monitoring the releases, and I think in my own opinion, it's a great time to leak information to my employees to see, give them like red herrings and false information. So when they pass it on to their people that they're leaking to, it ends up, we can actually track down who it was that would do that, or who it was that did that, because we told Karen and Todd this bit of information. We know they released it to John, so now we know who it was that did it, because we saw John talk about it. And no, Mr. and Mrs. Smith is not named Karen and Todd. I'm not going to reveal their names. Anyways, so it's really up in the air right now. And the other thing, to bring this all back full circle, I was kind of speculating, and if I did say this is what's coming next, I apologize. I should have put the caveat that this is my speculation. I'm pretty sure I kept saying it's a rumor. Next up is going to be Iron Hands and Raven Guard. And that comes back to that whole visually appealing thing. 2 armies in black armor is not very visually appealing. So I imagine that it's possibility. Now this is still me speculating. My bet, Imperial Fist and Iron Hands. Or it could be Imperial Fist and Raven Guard. It's any combination. But we got 3 armies with black armor, Black Templar, Iron Hands, and Raven Guard coming. So I don't expect 2 to be back to back. Just something to think about. And I'm also speculating that Black Templar might drop around the same time as Sisters of Battle. That's a speculation, maybe a little bit of wish listing, because story-wise it works out. So with the release schedule, just throw it away until you guys hear from me saying, hey, here it is. This is happening. Don't believe it. It's all rumor, speculation, or anybody else that does rumor release videos. Once you see the bona fide image, then you can believe it. So don't count on those release schedules. It's up in the air. I'm sorry. All right, so I can get this wrapped up here. So tomorrow, Nova begins, and Games Workshop has 2 things going on tomorrow. I'm not sure how many people are aware of this. See if I can. I don't want to get the wrong window up. Let's see here. All right, so Nova's got 2 things going on tomorrow. The first is the one that we're all waiting for, and this is the one at 8 o'clock. I'm actually going to jump online and pass the word on to you guys. We'll have a full-blown show, probably only about 15-20 minutes. I'm going to say probably 30 minutes, because I'm going to start rambling, because I'm going to be all like super excited and giggly, or I'm going to be very salty and angry. So tomorrow at Nova, so this is Eastern Standard Time, so I guess it would be 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. So you know what? I will not do the show at 8 p.m. tomorrow, ladies and gents. I just thought about that. It's at 8 p.m. Eastern, so yeah, 9 p.m. I'm going to do the show. Sorry about that. That would have been very embarrassing. So we know that tomorrow from 7 to 8, they're doing a Games Workshop preview. And that's going to be the big sneak peek reveal. And then afterwards, at 8 o'clock, that's when they're going to upload everything online. So I might, just to be kind of generous, is say 8:15, maybe 8:00. Let's do 8:05, maybe 9:05. Just watch for the post tomorrow. Make sure you hit follow and subscribe, or follow and have the alert button up there. That way you'll know when I'm about to go live. All right, so, and then at 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern, they actually have a second thing going on. It's the playtest and seminar session. So, and a seminar and panel. So there's a lot going to be going on tomorrow. I don't know what all that is. Actually, I have a friend that's going to be at Nova, and they're going to try to get in on this. So hopefully, as soon as they get on the playtest and seminar, I will have that information. I can pass it to you, because I don't think Games Workshop is going to pass that on. I think they're just going to do their one show at 8 o'clock Eastern, so 9 o'clock here, which is what I'm going to talk about. But they're not going to probably do a reveal for the playtest and seminar. So as soon as I have that information, I'll pass it on to you. All right, so let's get to the Psychic Awakening. You've listened to me ramble now for 40 minutes, which I appreciate. I wish I had a nice, tasty Coke here, but I've got some iced tea. But that's okay. All right, so Psychic Awakening. As I said, I don't have all that information yet. I don't have anything but rumors and rumors and speculation. Nobody has information on it. Nobody. I even went, God's honest truth here, I even went and was doing some data mining, checking out other websites. I hit up a couple people saying, hey, what have you heard? Here's what I've heard. I mean, nobody has information on this, except for maybe, Reese and them at Frontline Gaming. And even then, their podcast, they haven't revealed anything. They're probably under contract and have an NDA that they cannot talk about. Games Workshop has done quite a good job at keeping all this information on lockdown. So kudos to you guys. Kudos Games Workshop on keeping this stuff in-house and stopping the leakers and rumor mongers pass that information on to us. That is well played, sir. Well played. Or ma'am. So right now, we know that tomorrow is the big release on this information. Big preview. It's not going to be the actual release. My bet is still September is going to be a couple weeks of them talking about the Psychic Awakening. There will probably be, I'm going to say, probably about 2 weeks of them trickling in Psychic Awakening stuff. And then they'll have some of the Space Marine stuff kind of trickle in there. We know that the Tithe of Bone is going to trickle in over the next month, and they're just going to drip feed us about Tithe of Bone and Psychic Awakening. And my bet is that they're going to spend a good portion of September teasing that, and then near the end of September, we will get the actual, hey, this is the release date. There'll probably be like a 2-week pre-order for whatever this is. And then October, middle of October, that's the second month of autumn. That's when we'll see this stuff being released in waves. Now, we know that the Psychic Awakening is going to affect every faction. Everybody's going to be affected in some way. Don't know how. We don't know how. Right now, the current front-running rumor is that the Age of Sigmar version of Endless Spells is coming. That is a major wish list, and I'd give it at least a 50-50 chance. I mean, that's a fair chance. I would lean a little bit more towards 40-60, 40% being the likelihood, maybe a little bit less, mainly because, as I've talked about before, Games Workshop wants to keep Age of Sigmar and 40K as separate entities as possible. Yeah, there's some crossover, and like the orcs becoming Oroks, whatever it is, in Age of Sigmar, that is a good chance that they are going to get that same naming in 40K. And if you don't think that's possible, read Knights of Macragge. Read Knights of Macragge. Could this be a new race happening? As Texas Wargamer said, is it a new race? Possible, unlikely. And I only say unlikely because Games Workshop has said, hey, 2019 in November, Sisters of Battle. I don't suspect they're going to do 2 brand new armies back to back like that when there's so much to release between now and then. Tithe of Bone, Psychic Awakening. We still have Blood Bowl, Season 3 of Underworlds. We have 5 more codexes for Space Marines to drop, and we're going to be getting in getting prepped for the holidays. So we got the holiday box sets that are going to be coming. So I don't foresee a new army. Probably definitely not Seraphon. If it was, man, there's going to be some table flipping, I'm going to tell you right now, because there are plenty of other races that Games Workshop could tap into. So if this is going to be affecting all races, does this mean everybody's going to get psychers, or psychers are going to get a boost, or how's this going to work? We don't know. How will this affect people like the Tau, who don't have, none of the Tau casts are psychers? It's speculated, and it is speculated, hear my words, speculated, that the Tau ethereals are psychic, even though there's still nothing to verify that. And then we have the Necrons, no psychics. Actually, the whole psychic phenomenon is anathema to them. So how is that going to work? Well, my speculation right now is that there's going to be new units. Some armies are going to get, or some factions are going to get some new units. I'm fairly certain we're going to see the return of, not that they went away, but we'll see a solid return of the Sisters of Silence for the Imperium. The Adeptus Telepathica, that's what that symbol is on your screen right now, or on my screen, your screen, our screen. And I could be wrong in that name, I'm pretty sure it's the Adeptus Telepathica. And that's where the Sisters of Silence are grouped into. Even though they're psychic pariah, they go hunt down psychics. That also includes astropaths and Primera Psychers and everything. So I think Imperium will be getting a boost. They could be getting a whole bunch of new characters or new units. I don't know yet. That's just kind of far-reaching there. I think the Necrons will probably see a return of the pariah. The pariah went away in the last edition, and we saw the emergence of the Triarchs. Am I wrong there? Triarchs and the other version of them, Lichguard. And so we lost the pariah, and those are replaced. So we could see pariah come back. Of course, we could be seeing all sorts of new units like Tau. All right, so I did say Tau have no psychics in the actual Tau species, but we know from Battlefleet Gothic and from the recent Deathwatch book Shadowbreaker that there is a psychic race. Now the psychic race in Battlefleet Gothic, and I still haven't found it. I dropped my iPad, and so it broke, so I cannot access my iBooks. But the Shadowbreakers, they actually name the type of psychics that are in the psychic subservient race, whatever that they conquered and brought over. Now in Battlefleet Gothic, they're called Narcisar. They're described as big, giant bear-like creatures that are psychics. So I think it was a description, or at least this, I don't know if it's an accurate description, but said that they're kind of like polar bears. So this instantly made me think of what's that book series, The Golden Compass, the werebear, or not werebears, but the big polar bears, war bears, whatever they're called. Anyways, that talking bears. I could be totally wrong on all this. So they might get a psychic race, or they all of a sudden Tau are psychic creatures. Who knows? Imagine that if they all of a sudden we had to have to worry about Tau psychics on top of Tau firepower. That would be very brutal. Don't do that, Games Workshop, please, for the love of God. See what he's saying here. Texas Wargamers said of spells, they could get prayers or runes. Yeah, I could see that. Similar to the Blades of Corn and the Fire Slayers from Age of Sigmar. It could be. Endless spells, it's definitely possible. I could see it happening. Maybe me putting that kind of low end, that 40% chance of it actually happening. It's more of me wish listing myself, going, please, for the love of God, keep the two separate. What I would like to see is return of my speculation. This is my wish listing, guessing, speculating. Is, and I've said this before, the Emperor is going to do a massive psychic conference call. That's what I said. I want to say I said that about 2 weeks ago. Massive psychic conference call. Going to go out across the galaxy. Something's going to happen with the whole Imperium Nihilus. There's going to be this ray of hope that now people can make their way back to. They can actually navigate again. There's going to probably be lots of dead psychers in every race. People are going to die in droves. Billions, aliens are going to die. Chaos demons and space marines and cultists are going to die in droves. because of this. Yeah, the Emperor. New phone, who's this? Exactly. I think that's what's going to happen. And so there's going to be a bunch of good stuff that's going to happen, and bad stuff is going to happen to people because of the good stuff. And then we're going to see probably psychic boosting. And then my biggest guess is just based on rumors, speculation, actual lore, is that Lionel Johnson, and I said this before, I think Lionel Johnson is going to wake up. Does it mean he's going to get a new model? I don't know. This would be a great time to do it, but I think if they do say he woke up, we won't see his model yet. We're going to see the story develop, and then come January, and this is speculating again, come January, boom, Dark Angels. Lionel Johnson has risen. He's now made his way to Terra, or he's met up with Gilliman. They shook hands, bro hug, and trying to say, hey, excuse my language, but what the fuck is going on here? Why are these people worshiping, and what is going on? Some bad stuff's going to happen. He's going to be pissed off. And I know some people want Dorn to come back, and I'll get to Dorn in just a second. So I think Lionel Johnson, and if I remember reading correctly, he's in some sort of psychically induced coma. And we know that he's in the Rock. We know that Luther escaped. He's hanging out somewhere in the northern reaches of the galaxy. He took a whole bunch of Fallen with him, and he's hanging out, he's hiding, and he might end up coming back because of all this, maybe when the Dark Angels drop. It could be very interesting to see the Dark Angels, maybe a box set Dark Angels versus the Fallen. I doubt that would happen. That'd be kind of a crappy box set, but who knows. Anyways, so we don't know if Endless Spells is happening. I hate using that term, endless spells. I seriously doubt it. And if it happens, okay, then maybe I'll shave this. Add this to the things I'm going to have to shave off. I don't know if it's going to happen, guys. I really don't. And it's kind of driving me crazy not knowing what is going to be happening. But you know what? In approximately 24 hours and 7 minutes from now, we're going to know. Because at 9 p.m. tomorrow, Central, or 8 p.m. Eastern, or I think 1 p.m. British summertime, I think it was, or 3 p.m. British summertime, we're going to know. Tomorrow, 9 p.m. Central Time, we're going to know, is what it comes down to. And so all the speculating is going to go away, and who knows, I might actually get my information tomorrow. I could wake up tomorrow morning, and God bless their souls, they've done this before, is I get my cryptic email, and it'll be a couple keywords, and now I have to go back and put the pieces together, and I might be able to do a quick show tomorrow, or put it up on our Facebook page saying, hey, this is what I got, this is what it looks like it's going to be, and who knows, I might even have pictures tomorrow. I doubt it, because they have been very super secret squirrel with Psychic Awakening. So, big info dump tomorrow, affecting everybody, and Psychic Awakening will be the big info dump with, and I think Tight the Bone will be tucked in there also. I mean, it's an hour long, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time that they're doing that. And when you do that, you're locked in that room. They actually have people now, not locked in the room, but they have people now that are watching, making sure that you are not recording on your phone, not showing the pictures and stuff. So, excuse me, I think we won't have any releases or any sneak peeks until 8 p.m. Or 9 p.m. Central Time. I'm trying to get all these dates or these times right. 9 p.m. Central Time. And the reason Games Workshop's trying to control a lot of their releases, especially with a big release like this. So stay tuned tomorrow. I'm going to say I'm actually going to start streaming the show at 9 o'clock tomorrow. I'm going to have a window ready just in case. And if I have to sit here and chit-chat for a few minutes until they upload it, fine. We will sit there, chit-chat. We can speculate, chit-chat back and forth with you guys, and then once it happens, then we can giggle and be super excited and maybe hyperventilate because some really cool ass stuff is dropping from Games Workshop tomorrow at Nova. Wishing we were there so we could see it in person, but it doesn't matter. Because those people that are there are not going to be able to release that information until the seminar is over. So we won't have to, we'll actually be able to get it straight from the horse's mouth. I think that's the phrase. So at the end of the day, most people are thinking endless spells are going to happen for psychic powers. Is it going to happen? It's possible. It could be cool. I will say that it could be very cool. And it could add a whole new dynamic to the game. So now people are, it's already difficult trying to maximize and be efficient as possible with your army list. Imagine now that you have this fine-tuned, super tweaked army list, and you are great at winning local tournaments. You place very well in GTs and majors, but now your very super point efficient army list is now screwed up because of Psychic Awakening. Now you have to throw in endless spells. You have to put in more psychic defense. There's brand new units that you're going to have to be adding in. There's all sorts of things that you have to pay for now, point-wise and dollar-wise, that is going to flip the meta on its head. And the meta has already been flipped on the head because of the Space Marine Codex and the Space Marine Codex supplements that are coming out. So imagine all that getting flipped on its head, and from a tournament organizer or event organizer standpoint, that actually makes me happy because it's so, I can't think of the word, I don't want to mispronounce it, sound like an idiot. It's so chaotic right now that we'll see one army doing really well, and then something happens and all of a sudden it's not doing well, and somebody else is doing well with another army. Out of the blue, they just find these awesome combinations. So really, especially this year, the meta has been in a state of flux, a major state of flux. You go over to Blood of Kittens and you can actually look at who's winning the tournaments in 2019, and people are like, oh, it's Chaos Knights or it's Imperial Knights everywhere. No, it's not. Go take a look at who's winning GTs and majors. It is not the same army list over and over again. It's absolutely crazy. So this Psychic Awakening, if it is upgrades for existing Warhammer 40,000 match play and narrative play armies, this is going to be fantastic from the standpoint it's going to shake up the meta. That's really awesome. I don't think it's going to be an apocalypse style game. I think it's them moving the story forward probably about, I'm going to say, another 100 to 150 years. I think they're going to move the story because they've already moved the story almost 200 years forward. So I think and that's based on the novels and the books that they've actually put out. So I think they're going to jump forward a little bit. Could just be 50 years. I think a Primarch is going to wake up. It could be, hey, the Khan, who is the last time we checked with the Khan, and this is in his in the bios and everything, not the rumors, but the Khan chased the Archon into the Webway way back in the day, and he's been hunting the Dark Eldar since then. That was the last bit that we knew. We have no idea where he is. We have no idea if he's in some Dark Eldar arena. I doubt it. Some people have said, oh, he's in the Black Library. I can't find any reference to that. If there is a reference, man, let us know. Point that to me so we can add that in, so we can confirm that. Right now, the only information we have is that he jumped into the Webway to chase down everybody that these Dark Eldar that were basically taking his people away. So, yeah. And then we also got Russ. He could be still trapped in the, not trapped in the warp, but hunting down Magnus and all them in the warp. He might realize, shit, Magnus isn't here anymore. He's outside. Now I got to go through the doggy door. I don't know how to get out. Dad does the psychic call, uses a little dog whistle. Now comes Lehman Russ, and he comes out of the warp. Korax, being all emo, might hear, his dad's like, hey, stop being, so super sad. You screwed up, but still love you, kid. Come on back. Yeah, you can wear your makeup and I don't care about your identity or anything like that. Just come on back. You're my kid. Love you. I need some help. Your brothers need help. He could come back. Vulcan, wrapped up in the psychic energy of the wall energy, could just like, oh, hey, Dad's calling. I can't be lazy anymore. I need to get out there and go do some work. And of course, Lionel Johnson being lazy, being a lazy ass, sleeping in this whole time, will wake up and go, okay, I'll come help Dad, come help my brothers. There's all sorts of possibilities here. So, and I still bet Sisters of Silence are going to get a grav vehicle, or that's speculating. They're going to pop up. They're going to have like a grav tank. They're going to have different sister type squads, and it's probably only going to be one extra squad and probably a character. I don't think it's going to be a big splash release. It's just going to be like, hey, here's this type of unit and it's cool, and here's a character, kind of what they did with the Imperial or the Adeptus Custodes in the beginning. I don't know. I'm speculating, and I'm tired of waiting. We got 24 hours, and this is bull crap. I need to know now. So if I do hear information by tomorrow morning, when I wake up, and I usually is when I get weird emails, and if I got some cryptic, I'll try to put it together, piece it together, and figure out what it means. And if I can't, I'll just pass that information on to you guys, let you figure it out, so I don't have to strain my brain any more than I usually do. And real quick, Texas Wargamer, about Dorn. Let me talk about Dorn real quick, because I didn't mention him in the Psychic Awakening. Currently, I'll get the novels, and I'll talk about it on tomorrow's show, so we can put this to rest. And Games Workshop is, of course, free to change any of this up, because it's their IP. They can change the story however they want. There is several references that people say Dorn's hand is the only thing they have of him. I've even said that before until I read a book. And there's reference in the book that in the Phalanx, there's the hands of Dorn and his skeleton. Sorry to say that, but as of right now, canonically speaking, he is dead. Because the chapter masters are the only ones that are allowed to go and do the scrimshaw on the bones of Dorn. Does that, I've heard, oh, well, Fabius Biles got all of his clones. You need to go read Talons of the Emperor. Abaddon was not happy with all that and did some bad stuff to it. Right now, Dorn is dead. I'm sorry, but Dorn is dead. Now, does that mean that there's some speculation, or there was some comments on another website that kind of confirmed that book is apocryphal? I think I'm saying that right. That essentially, even though it's written and it's published by Games Workshop, that it's not considered canon, because it was written before they started their moving forward their whole storyline, and not retconning, but essentially bringing everything together. So for a while there, especially all the way up to about 6th edition, maybe even a little bit of 7th edition, Games Workshop was just throwing whatever they wanted at the wall. There's creative freedom to write stories about whatever, and they weren't really holding on to that narrative. And so now they're pulling back, they're getting a hold of all that information, and for the most part keeping the narrative the same, but they're going back and tweaking things. So any of those standalone novels, like the one I'm talking about, that could be just a standalone novel that it was just a story, but it wasn't an accurate canonical story. So as of right now, though, Rogel Dorn, the Primarch of the Imperial Fist, is currently dead. I'm sorry, but he is dead. So anyways, I didn't want to leave it on a bad note. Good note, tomorrow in 23 hours and 55 minutes from now, and so 54 minutes from now, we're going to know what Psychic Awakening is. I'm going to do a show, and I'm going to keep it very super freaking brief. But we're going to go through everything that Games Workshop is going to put out and go through it, and we're going to be like giggling school children, or we just went in and it's it's autumn, and we got our yoga pants on, and we're going inside Starbucks, and it's pumpkin spice lattes everywhere. So I don't know what'll happen. Tomorrow's going to be ridiculously good day. 23 hours and 53 minutes now, and we're going to get a little crazy. Yeah, sorry, Texas Wargamer. I will have that information on our show tomorrow about Rogel Dorn. I'll put it in the chat, and I'll talk about it, and I'll even do a little bit more research. But everything I said, Dorn is dead. I'm sorry, which sucks because, as you guys can see, I love the Imperial Fist and I love Rogel Dorn. So I'm not saying it as a troll. I'm saying it because he's dead. Anyways, I've rambled on way too long. This has been about speculating, rumors, leaks, all about Psychic Awakening happening tomorrow, and of course, updates on all sorts of little stuff like Tithe of Bone, Aeronautica, Sergeant Bam Bam. Go back and read about Sergeant Bam Bam. It's an intercessor sergeant with a thunder hammer, and how you could take down a knight in probably one turn. I don't know if Sergeant Bam Bam has been coined as a term yet, but it's one I'm going to be using. So check that out. I'll even put in the on the Facebook page tomorrow pretty much the things I've kind of put together for this. And that's it. I'm going to go ahead and stop streaming. I'm going to go watch some TV, maybe some Fire Force, new anime, and go to bed because it's been a long day. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you hit subscribe or follow. Sorry, hit follow. Make sure you have the notifications on because tomorrow, 9 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to be going over all of the stuff that Nova is dropping, or Games Workshop is dropping at Nova tomorrow, and we're going to go crazy. I swear, I am going to have to probably turn down the volume or warn you guys because I'm going to be doing lots of really loud, so fluffy. I'm going to go crazy like a kid in a candy shop, or I'm going to be super salty and throwing stuff at the monitor. We'll find out. Anyways, join me tomorrow, 9 p.m. Central. Have a good night.